This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. I hope you enjoyed this Critical Thought, your daily discussion on game design. Welcome to today's Critical Thought. As always, thank you to now 934 subscribers here on YouTube. I hope everyone is enjoying the great content, and for you first-timers, be sure to like and subscribe as we're on our way up to the big 1,000. If you haven't voted yet, today's your last day for the 900 Let's Play between Fez, Aquaria, or Bastion. If no one breaks the three-way tie, then I'll just have to do it for us. We are T-minus 1 day away from Thanksgiving, and like I said, this week there won't be a Game Wisdom Live, but I have a special Critical Thought plan for tomorrow. We are, of course, having a Steam Autumn Sale has begun, which is going to be perfect for tomorrow's Critical Thought. But for today, I wanted to talk about the subject of mods and modding. I don't remember if I did a Critical Thought about this, but I know I've written several posts about it in the past. The act of modding a game has certainly been a major facet of the PC game industry going back. If we were being generous, we could pretty much consider the very first computer games were in fact mods of people using their programming to build titles around. Modding has become a very big deal, all the more so over the last, I guess it's been maybe, I want to say 8 or 7 years. Modding has really taken hold, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, for modern day, or from 90s on, modding is usually considered different forms of creating content, usually certain different degrees, I guess you could say. At its lowest form, modding can simply be creating quality of life improvements, or fixing or adjusting things that a developer didn't consider or couldn't. This would be examples such as the Dark Souls mod for the first game that fixed a lot of the technical issues, improved FPS, and even affected screen resolutions and such. XCOM 2 had a lot of quality of life mods, including those that adjusted the per mission turn limit, affected the UI, making it easier to read, and a lot more. And it's these kinds of mods typically fill the Steam Workshop and can definitely add to a game's experience. In some cases, like with the Dark Souls mod, they can even become so popular and so useful, it was even considered a requirement or a major suggestion on the Dark Souls Steam page. The next tier when it comes to mods are unique content and items. This could be everything from different skins for characters, unique weapon skins, unique items in a game, and keep that one in the back of your mind because we'll be coming back to that in a few minutes. A good example would be the stuff like from Team Fortress 2, even something as silly as the Macho Man Randy Savage dragon skin from Skyrim. In this case, we have modders creating unique textures and content for games beyond just modding files. And then the final category of mods that we'll talk about are the big ones. These are partial or total conversion mods. What this means is that a modder or a group of modders will create content that will change the game or add completely original stuff to a title that can be experienced. A very big example of that would be the original Dota, which was a mod for Warcraft. Tower Defense, They Hunger from Half-Life, of course Team Fortress being an example, and a very big one of that very recently would be XCOM Long War. This was considered a partial conversion because they kept the same basic gameplay of XCOM, but greatly expanded, added in completely new skills, new rules, etc., and essentially created a completely different game which everyone loved. Total conversion, again, would be just a complete build, just completely brand new things, something that we wouldn't see otherwise in this game, and in some cases could even be a completely different genre. Now, modding is a big deal, like I said, and for many developers, especially on the PC side, many of them start out as modding, pre-existing games or creating a small mod. The Long War example, the studio, Long War Studios, literally came into existence thanks to the backing and recognition they got for developing the mod. And another good example of a game that I've been playing lately would be Killing Floor 2. Tripwire Interactive started with the original Killing Floor as an Unreal Tournament mod back in 2004. And this is a great way for people who have an understanding of programming and of art to get into the game industry without needing, hundreds of dollars of software or learning expensive software, stuff like that. But with that said, as we've seen, the cream definitely rises to the top, and the people who really take the time and create unique and very imaginative and game-affecting mods have certainly become the big names on this front. Now, one of the things that we've been seeing, and this is where sort of one of the bigger discussions that's been happening, is the issue of paid mods, or being paid to mod. Like I said, for pretty much all the 90s and the first half of the thousands, modding was considered free. You're making it for either the love of the game, or for portfolio, or even maybe just trying to submit this as proof that you should work at a studio. And sometimes it's a combination of all three. But what we saw over the last, I would say again, like 7-8 years, is the idea of getting paid to mod. And this really came into existence thanks to Team Fortress. What Valve did was release the Polycount pack. And what this was their first step at paying modders to add content to Team Fortress. What they did was ask for submissions for items. They didn't need the stats, they simply just wanted people to design interesting looking items. And the items that they liked were added to Team Fortress. Now, like I said, they are the ones who adjusted the stats or gave them the unique side grades, but all the art assets and the work done on the item itself was done by modders. And the Polycount pack became a huge success not only for Valve, but in giving proceeds of the money that was spent on those items to the respective modders. And this was, I think, really the first time that a modder actually earned a lot of money for their work and really started this trend. And Valve took that further with the Steam Workshop option, which now, for any game, allows you to consolidate and easily access mods. And for the big name ones, they can even earn money, even directly through Steam or the developer, or indirectly. There was a really big name modder whose name I'm afraid I can't remember off the top of my head, who used to work at Maxis, who created unique buildings for city skylines. And he became so popular that it helped him with Patreon and kind of helped him to do work after he was no longer working at Maxis. And with games like Team Fortress, Payday 2 is supposedly going to be doing something like that soon, I heard. Killing Floor, you name it, the ability to add your creative content and possibly get rewarded for it is a very big deal. Now, with that said, of course, it's, as anyone who's submitted or looked into it, it's not simply as, taking a hat, painting it blue, and putting it on Team Fortress and making lots of money. All the content is added to the workshop and then is vetted by the community. If they really like an item and it gets high enough votes for Valve to take notice, they're going to adopt it into Team Fortress, and then that person will get part of their payment plan. And I'm sure the same will go for other games. But as another major facet of modding, which may be too big to get into today, but I want to talk about, is the issue of getting paid mods, and not just with items, but with actual updates, and again, being able to affect games. As you know, about 2 years ago, Valve unleashed a wave of controversy with having paid mods for the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. As you know, the Elder Scrolls games are very popular for modding thanks to the open-ended worlds and just the, I know I'm going to mispronounce this, the modability, there you go, third time's a charm, of these games. But when they introduced the idea of being paid or adding the option to charge people to use your mods, this opened up one hell of a Pandora's box. There's several reasons. First is the fact that both Steam and Bethesda get proceeds from these mods. That really pissed off a lot of people to begin with. Second, having mods like this raises the issue of what if someone makes a God mode mod and charges people $2 a pop for it? What if mods are no longer supported? Because as we all know, for each new version of a game that comes out, those mods have to be updated. Then there's of course the issue of mods breaking mods, mods having to be compatible with other mods, and again, it's just a very gooey mess. But then there's the big one, mod collaboration. Some of the most popular mods in the past are sometimes created from groups of people or combining several smaller mods into a larger one. Stalker Complete, for instance, was a top-to-bottom addition to the Stalker game. It added in updated graphics, updated items, mechanics, patching the guns, fixing bugs in the game, you name it. And this wasn't done by just one person. And things like this raises the business element of things. If two people work on a mod and one of them decides to sell it, what happens to the other person? What if they don't agree with selling it? Does it get taken off? Does the parts that the second person work on get removed? Again, these are all issues that arose with this idea of getting paid for mods. Now, with items like Team Fortress or Payday 2, whatever like that, it's a different story. These items are submitted and then vetted on. It's not the same as you putting a mod on Steam and saying, well, I'm going to charge $5 for it. The only way an item in Team Fortress is going to be chargeable or purchasable is if it gets vetted and Valve decides to pull the trigger on it. But, like I said, that is a topic we could easily spend another critical thought on. To wrap up today's talk then, modding, again, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, and as the consoles become more online oriented, we're seeing talks about possibly getting those mods there. There was a recent debate and argument when it was announced that the Elder Scrolls Skyrim for the consoles wasn't going to be moddable or get mods. But I think this is going to happen eventually. Just the functionality and the lifespan enhancing that mods can bring to a game is a very big deal, and it's also a great way for fans to interact with their favorite games. And for the developers, it's a win-win. They get more people interested in their games, and they may even get additions and functionality added that they never even conceived. Firaxis, for instance, had no idea about the Long War mod, and when it came out, it completely blew them away to the point that they hired Long War Studios to make official mods for XCOM 2. And I'm sure great things are going to come from that studio when they announce their first official game and possibly a Kickstarter, from what I've heard. But again, for people, especially those who love games and want to get into them, modding is certainly a popular avenue to get your name out there, and if it become very popular, such as with Team Fortress, maybe you earn some money in the process. For more information on getting into games like this, or getting into mods for popular games, be sure to check out the developer site or the game site, and there's usually modding tools, software developer kits, or SDKs. I think that's what it stands for. I may have just butchered that, and more. But one last bit of advice: if you are going to do mods for games, it's important to look at all the aspects of it, including ownership, if there is any money involved, and especially about avoiding or dealing with using copyright images and sounds and stuff like that. While the company may not get in trouble for, if you decide to put out a Mario reskin for a popular game, it could get your mod taken down or may get you into trouble. Again, this is going to be dependent on what the game is and on the discussion of fair use. Excuse me, but it's important to keep these things in mind if you're going to use copyrighted IPs for your mods. Now, if you're going to make something completely original, that's a different story. But one last thing, one other major aspect of mods I just want to quickly touch on that is very important is Steam. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago with the workshop, the Steam Workshop has been another major source of getting mods into the public eye. In the past, you would have to go to a third-party site like FilePlanet. I think GameSpot used to have options like that as well to find these mods. But using the workshop, it has become a lot easier. And if you are going to work on a mod for a popular game, especially one on Steam, definitely look into getting onto a workshop. And the same goes for developers who may be watching this. If you're opening up your game for custom content or mod content, definitely get Steamworks integration, or Steam Workshop. I'm sorry, Steam. The first one, Steamworks, that's the back end or using the Steam API. The Steam Workshop is for mods. But we'll wrap it up here. As always, thank you so much for liking and watching these critical thoughts. Be sure to subscribe and get your vote in by the end of tonight. Like I said, come back tomorrow, as the critical thought will be talking about sales and selling, which should be a very interesting topic. There won't be too many posts this week on Game Wisdom. Again, I'm trying to take it easy, but there will be a podcast up for Friday. Once again, I'm Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com, where we examine the art and science of games. Thanks for checking out today's critical thought, and be sure to come back tomorrow for more great content. Have a great day, and don't tire yourself out too much getting ready for Thanksgiving. Take care. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GWBycer for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GWBycer for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.